Different World Pharmacy, Vol. 4 Chapter 9. Falma de Medicis the Alchemist is the adopted baby by the Bonfoy family that has the ability to learn lightning magic doing well. During the time of regular medical examinations at the court, the Empress inquires about Sophie's current conditions with Falma. Her demeanor becomes worrisome, since the Empress is also a mother of one child, and she happens to like children. Yes, and I'm handling her lightning strikes well today. The electric shocks'll feel good when you get used to it. The ones who are being trained are Falma and Ellen. Foo-ha-ha, she's a promising mythical messenger. Certainly, there is no concern for Sophie in being kidnapped. The kidnapper will surely get an electric shock as soon as she cries, and the discharge can be seen around her based on her emotion. It's quite flashy, so there's nothing that can get closer to her without suffering the shock. I want to quickly make some arrangements for her, so I want her to grow up sooner. Falma gives a dry laugh towards the Empress's impatience. Please wait at least 10 more years for her to serve as your Majesty's servant. Umu. Tell Eleanor to bring Sophie next time. Sophie is a newborn infant who has been noticed by the Empress of the Great Empire, coming from the background of a shabby abandoned child. The Empress may have an inkling that Sophie is a lightning divine art user, but Falma desires for her to have a normal childhood. Because the infant has a rare attribute called the non-attribute, Falma feels responsible as he was the person who opened her divine vein, which is deemed unusual under normal circumstances. By the way, her electric shock is not only for attacking, but it's for saving lives. However, the Empress ordered a combative education as a special gift for Sophie. Falma, who believes it is an irresistible gift to be granted, publicizes Sophie's ability that can be regulated for common usages. Ha, as expected, you're overselling her abilities. What can a baby do? That is, Falma starts his explanation. About a week ago, an old commoner fell down near the pharmacy. Falma was rushed to the citizen. But the commoner had already suffered a myocardial arrest, and suffered an irregular heartbeat, as the diagnostic eye displayed red 2, to which the commoner's symptom could not be treated. During the time when everyone was giving up on saving his life, Ellen was carrying Sophie nearby, so Falma thoughtfully lowered Sophie onto the commoner, then placed her little hands and feet at specific locations on his chest. 3. Tickle tickle. Falma tickled her armpit. Then Sophie, while clueless, was delighted from the tickling and expelled electrical shock as the commoner was instantly defibrillated, and resumed normal breathing after his heart restarted from cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It was an instant AED, automated external defibrillator. Falma was pleasantly surprised. What did you say? You managed to rejuvenate a human whose heart has stopped. The Empress becomes overly excited after hearing the retelling of the story that she nearly slips off her throne. I've never heard of such a usage from divine art user. Strictly speaking, this did not mean that the heart has stopped. It should have been said that it was not the heart itself that stopped, but rather the heart suffered an abnormal heartbeat. Falma corrects the details to prevent the Empress's misunderstanding. There is a difference between asystole, when the heart completely stops, and cardiac, when the heartbeats become irregular, arrests, and Sophie's electric shock was effective during that cardiac arrest. Yes, I hear you, but I don't know why you say that with such a tiny subtle difference. Tell me why this happened. Empress Elizabeth II is a short-tempered woman. There's no need for any explanation greater than 30 seconds. All the muscles of our bodies are driven by electrical signals. If an electric current is applied, the signals of the heart may be adjusted. The Empress falls into deep thoughts. This cannot be allowed as acceptable, especially those who have been judged to be ordinary people even when they were from the aristocratic background and did not have divine connections. Because they were non-attributed divine art users, they were overlooked. Solomon, as he listens to the rebuking words of the Empress with the court officials in the Empress's office, withers. 4. No, it's not a big issue. It's difficult to identify non-attribute divine art users if none of the main attributes do not open properly. it may be overlooked. If this is so, it had been a great loss to the empire to keep the non-attribute mythical gods dormant. It's really true. Solomon agrees. Falma. Can you identify the non-attribute gods? No. I can only see the divine veins, but I'm unable to identify the gods. Falma has a premonition that his workload is about to increase further on top of his pharmacology practices. Even so, Falma did not hesitate to work together to restore the Forgotten's honors. If you can see the divine vein, why can't you see the god? Let's finish this topic first. Please ask Solomon Sand for the rest of the details about the detection of the god later. The Empress devises her plan and secretly gathers the aristocratic commoners from all over the empire. There are a total of more than 300 commoners who are invited to the palace at different times. But Falma only discovers that 5 of them are non-attribute divine art users, and proceeds to open their divine veins on the spot as he demonstrates his unique skill. Falma is able to open the dormant divine veins. But it is neither possible for Solomon to identify the types of non-attribute divine art during his assessments, nor the connections to the divine arts of various extremely rare unidentified gods of merchant, music, time, travel, agricultural, etc. have not surfaced for the past few hundred years. A person with a very rare guardian deity that has not been seen since over 100 years is now finally found. The forgotten aristocratic commoners, from the age range of 15 to 48, were all abandoned by their parents and entrusted to the orphanages related to the Great Temple and suffered difficult lifestyles. The Empress declares her finding directly to her subjects. I've searched, and I've found unexpected treasures. The Empress is mortified as a result. In her eyes, a good divine art user is the property of the empire. By placing the right materials in the right places, the gains of the excellent results can be expected in the field. Yes, it's painful to receive such a report because I'm indirectly responsible for the priest's impaired ability to discover the dormant divine veins. But if the religious countries know about this, Solomon is anxious that the priests of the imperial city temple are not able to utilize this information. If Falma is the only one who can unearth the divine veins of non-attribute gods and open them, the great temples will increasingly target Falma. You have to act unpretentious. How much does the empire really benefit from that boy? Empress. Thank you for recognizing him. Falma's plans for rehabilitation are not limited to the empire. Solomon. Falma not only believes that it's fine to have his place of residence be comfortable, but he is considerate of other countries' well-being as well. Well, if that's what he desires. The Empress acknowledges Falma's eagerness is for the best. I really want you to remain collected during this time, Solomon. The Empress orders the strengthening the security for the de Medicis family. She deploys the imperial citizens' holy knights and have them disguised as passerbys to protect the de Medicis members. Inquires into the matters of the pharmacy and about any suspicious person who attempts to sneak into the de Medicis family. Then captures and interrogates the culprits without letting the de Medicis family notices. She also sends the holy knights beyond the empire's borders for obtaining information. Of course, Bruno also increases the number of the holy knights to guard the mansion and the university, as well as strengthens night patrols to prevent harm to his family and servants. Of the few bureau connections that Bruno has in place, he cooperates particularly closely with the Marseille territories to increase their securities. Because of the far-reaching influences of the Empress and Bruno, Falma is able to live an ordinary life. Falma Sand, good evening. Pierre, the head of the Dispensers for Pharmacy Guild, has arrived at a different world pharmacy with his daughter. Pierre, the owner of the African Perfolis pharmacy, regularly pulls his wagon to buy medicines at the Falma's pharmacy. He commonly purchases them all at one time and distributes the contents to each Pharmacy Guild member's dispensing store, while providing them with proper medication and prescription guidances. In Japan, the stores handle a wide variety of over-the-counter medicines, such as cold medicines and antipyretics, that can be sold without a pharmacist, along with daily health foods, oral care products, and various sanitary products. It's you. Greetings. Oh, you are. When Falma replies, Pierre's daughter comes out from behind Pierre and gives a courteous bow. She shyly looks at Falma. According to Pierre, she has mixed feelings about Falma since she was given a suppository by Falma when she had the flu. Falma recalls what he had done to her during that time, but he doesn't understand why she is blushing because he had only given her medication. Do you care for candy? As Falma asks, he pulls a bottle of candy, and she quickly hides behind Pierre. Lot, if you are free, take a break and eat some snacks with this child on the third floor. Well, is that okay with you? Can I really? By all means. Yes, by all means. Yes. Lot skips along and goes to get a tea set. Falma thinks she probably baked an orange cake earlier today. How's thing going? Falma sometimes appeared at regular meetings held at the Pharmacy Guild's dispensary. He is trying hands off, basically shoves off the management of the Pharmacy Guild to Pierre. Every store has rising sales. There are high demands for sanitary products, diapers, and underwear. It sounds good. Place a female pharmacist in the store that handles sanitary products. Since sanitary product sales is a delicate issue, it would be difficult for male pharmacists to sell, especially to women. Yes, I was told to hire a female pharmacist. And when it comes to diapers, there have been a lot of demands by the young knights. When wearing armor, it is especially useful because the armor cannot be easily removed. Perry indicates that the diapers made of cotton are sold very fast. Haha, I'm surprised to hear that. They are not intended to be used for long-term care. Please remind them not to wear the diapers for a long period, since it will hinder proper hygiene. After that, Falma receives favorable reports of businesses that are successful. The Pharmacy Guild's dispensaries are in good shape in recent days. The number of registered pharmacists to the Pharmacy Guild has also increased, and all member stores are performing well. By lowering the drugs' prices, they have cultivated the potential demands by imperial citizens. The Pharmacy Guild's dispensary stores adhere to the prescription rules properly and are less likely to cause problems. This is largely due to the agreements that the drugs cannot be obtained anywhere else other than purchasing from the different World Pharmacy or Falma's factory. It can be problematic if Pierre and Falma moods become foul, resulting in the members being forced to leave the guild. The Pharmacy Guild seems to be doing well. How about the Pharmacology Guild stores? The number of customers is so poor. At first, I thought the number was sufficient. But when there is a difference in number in comparison to ours, the Pharmacology Guild, where Baron was once the Pharmacologist Guild's chief, had most of its members absorbed by the newly launched Pharmacy Guild established by Falma. Although most members have been absorbed by the Pharmacy Guild's dispensary, there are still remnant details about the Pharmacology Guild's new leadership. However, the handling of dangerous and toxic medicines has been abolished by the Empress's decree. So the base medicines that can be procured are from herbs, potions, mushrooms, dried animals and plants as crude medicines. 5. Is that so? Falma feels sorry to hear such news. There are still some citizens who love traditional medicines, but I wonder if it will be difficult to survive in the Imperial City at this rate. Ellen sympathizes with Perrier. Please provide financial and technical assistance to the pharmacology dispensaries that are having a hard time. Pharmacy Guild's dispensary provides modern medicine and health goods. And Pharmacology Guild uses traditional medicines. Now the Pharmacology Guild's members are a few remnants of their past. They have little successes because the Pharmacy Guild has taken most of the patients. Huh? Well, if that's what you want, Falma, I'll do that. Doing this is like rubbing salt on the enemy's wounds, according to Pierre's perspective, where he doesn't expect the gap in sales to be closer to each other anytime soon. They also have their livelihood. If their management fails, please tell them to come to me for a discussion. Falma doesn't want to crush the Pharmacology Guild either. Rather, he just to prevent the members from selling bad and suspicious medicines to the common people at high prices. The Pharmacology Guild executives that turned hostile towards Falma in the past quietly left the organization. the pharmacology store owners who visit the different world pharmacy. Falma provides detailed information on the efficacy of herbal medicines and the related herbs, along with the education of the recipes that can be effectively be used daily in the preparation of medicinal teas. There were times where an alchemist of pharmacology belonging to the pharmacology guild suspiciously gathered the alchemists and pharmacologists of the imperial city. An alchemist. Alchemy is tea. He natural science of the earth. It can be said that chemistry has developed through the enormous trials and errors of the alchemists. Many compounds have been discovered by alchemists and applied to drugs discoveries. This is a good compatibility with the current pharmacy. However, Bruno appears to have negative doubts about alchemy, and alchemy-related books are not available on the bookshelves at Falma's residence. Therefore, it is almost likely the reason that this was the first word for Falma to recognize. Alchemists, the ultimate goal is to get gold out of base metals. What are they usually doing at the gatherings? Falma wonders where the research funding came from. Because it is a profession that doesn't generate much business, there aren't many alchemists themselves. Usually, they make a living by synthesizing compounds. They sell them to pharmacologists, and alchemists also serve as pharmacologists themselves. But the ultimate goal for alchemists is for humans to be immortal and to synthesize gold. It is said that if one has a philosopher's stone, one can obtain the ultimate goal. However, the master alchemist denied its existence. Ellen pinches Falma's mouth. Your father, Count Bruno de Medicis, published a famous paper 7 years ago that the philosopher's stone cannot be synthesized to the domestic and foreign pharmacologists and alchemists. He was desperate in discovering methods for the synthesis of gold, but the master alchemist said he could not synthesize the philosopher's stone. There is a concept of the philosopher's stone in this world. While listening to Bruno's past achievements, Falma is deeply moved by the phrase, philosopher's stone. The rumors that philosopher's stone can be used to make elixirs of immortality and has the ability to catalyze gold. It is a grand vision for medicine in the medical field with such power. Of course, it was also a legend on Earth. It even said to have succeeded in the creation of a homunculus. Opening parenthesis. In such an event, along with the alchemist's soul of eagerness, the homunculus word appears to have surfaced among the successes. Homunculus is believed to be an android dwarf made by an alchemist in a distillation bottle. Who saw it? Falma suspects that if there is such a thing, he definitely likes to see it. No, it's said to have taken more than 40 weeks to create a homunculus. It was mentioned that they were exhibiting what they've already made. Perhaps they put the corpse of a human fetus in a glass container and caused the appearance of movement. I think it was merely a show and they were paying for it. The onlookers were unaware that they were scammed. Pierre concludes with this statement. This is being malicious, but was it really a complete scam? What is the purpose of doing so? It was called the Philosopher's Stone, and even declared as a homunculus, yet nothing was being called out as a scam. Ellen is troubled while removing her glasses. Majority of the time, life doesn't grow in a glass bottle. Falma believes it so too, right? Ellen inquires for a confirmation, and Falma senses he's heading for trouble. Theoretically. It's not impossible. Please repeat that again. Because I don't understand. The fertilized eggs grow outside the body within the blastocyst, after the amniotic sac develops. But he is about to discuss reproductive engineering, which will be a long, varied discussion. Moreover, the subject is a specialty of Falma, but since the story becomes too complicated, he keeps his mouth shut. The fertilized egg can grow up to the stage of blastocyst without a placenta. And with an artificial placenta, it is theoretically possible to grow a fetus outside the body. Research and development is quite advanced on the Earth. It seems that the alchemist that gathered the other alchemists around Imperial City held a weekly gathering. About 10% of the previous pharmacologists are also alchemists, and these pharmacologists are still devoted to the field of alchemy studies. Oh, by the way, I happen to be an alchemist. Pierre boasts about himself as he displays his alchemist badge. What were you doing at that meeting? I wanted to see the alchemist's demonstration of the philosopher's stone that led to the success in alchemy. After that demonstration, he displayed the homunculus. Then he sold his discovered mysteries at such high prices that the pharmacologists and alchemists would go bankrupt. I wonder if anyone else had succeeded in selling the technology. If there were many people who failed, it would likely be noticed. Ellen frowns with a distorted face. That was the reason for it becoming successful with so many people. With just through demonstrations, Ellen suspects there is a possibility. One of the successful people is probably Sakura. Do you know where the meeting will be held? A picture is worth 1,000 words, so Falma is interested. Yes, I do. I've checked it out. But only alchemists and their disciples can attend the meeting. If that's so, why don't you acknowledge that I'm the disciple of the alchemist Pierre and let me go with you? Isn't it dangerous? Falma San's name is known throughout the imperial city, probably also in appearance. I can disguise myself, Falma proclaims without any concerns. I'm worried for Falma and Pierre. I'll attend with you. The Eleanor's name is also known throughout the imperial city. Are you sure? Ellen is unaware of her position as the most dignified and respected disciple of the court farm. Ecologist, Bruno. Then how about I will dress as a man and Falma as a woman? That way we will not get caught. Ellen is going to become a cross-dresser. Since she is usually required to behave as a noble, she yearns to cosplay as a beautiful man in appearance. Even if you want to do that, why don't you just cover yourself with a hood? She wants to pity Falma, who doesn't fancy a hobby. If I'm going to go incognito, I want to do it perfectly and dress up as a man. Falma can dress as a woman. You can do it if you like, Ellen. I'm definitely not dressing up as a woman. So, Falma and Ellen strategize to infiltrate the suspicious alchemist's gathering with Pierre. By the way, what will you do when you finally sneak in? Pierre asks. If I uncover the alchemy's gimmicks, I can ban them from the industry. I'll show you how. If there is circumstantial evidence of them being a scammer, they won't be able to do business. But as the alchemist's gathering is getting bigger each time, there's something worth about the field to believe in again. I heard that they synthesized gold using mercury and sulfur. Do you have a chance to expose that? Is it appropriate to use mercury for synthesizing? What do you mean? Ellen doubts her hearing. Cedric and other pharmacists that are working hard at the pharmacy decide to eavesdrop. With alchemy, it is possible to synthesize gold. However, since gold is an atom, it cannot be made into a compound. Mercury, that is an atom with atomic number 80. By irradiating the nucleus to disintegrate the atomic nuclei and strip off the protons, it will eventually yield gold as an atom with atomic number 79. What? Doesn't it mean that under alchemy, it is impossible? Ellen and Pierre stand up from their chairs and shout out. Ellen hastily grabs Falma while she drops her glasses and nearly step on them. You drop it again. Stop dropping your glasses. Falma suspects that he has made too many promises and is still doing it on purpose. He thinks it's better to make plastic glasses so that Ellen can't break them. Lot and Pierre's daughter, as they're having a tea party upstairs, come down from the 3rd floor because they hear loud shouts. What's wrong? Oh, nothing. Continue on with your tea party. Falma dismissively waves his hands to them. Lot embarrassedly wipes the cake powder around her mouth and goes back to the 3rd floor. Both of you need to stay calm. At this moment, it's impossible for the technology in this world and it requires a huge amount of energy for the process. There is no reason that gold cannot be synthesized. But there only are few gold atoms that can be formed in a single reaction. So it could be said that it would even be unrealistic to synthesize 1 teaspoonful of gold with modern earth science and technology. It would take a huge amount of power, time and budget. Yeah, I was surprised. I wondered if Falma can synthesize gold with divine power. Ellen calmly sits down and wears her glasses again. Even if I try to use my divine power to convert mercury, it's probably impossible due to my lack of energy. Haha, if only I can do that. If so, I can create huge profit after having you teach me the secret technique. Pierre jokes and laughs heartily. Ha ha ha, I surely can't do that. Falma has cold sweat while laughing with Pierre, because he remembers something. Oh, no, I can synthesize gold by using material creation. Falma, who has the power to create all substances with the ability, substance creation, on his left hand, is able to synthesize not only gold but also all metals and jewelries. Even so, he has abundant amount of capital from the profits generated at the different world pharmacy, so he doesn't have to think about gold creation as he currently has no need for money. I believe I'm an alchemist if I use that logic. In a sense, Falma is the only one in the world who can be called a true alchemist. No, I'm looking forward to studying alchemy. How do you perform alchemy? Falma displays a fearless smile. You look like an evil alchemist, Falma-san. As she's looking at his expression, Ellen is fearful of his enthusiasm in becoming an evil alchemist.